We build quality education for the black nation. We're building quality education without colonization. Africa, yeah. Africa, let's come together. Africa, oh. Africa, yeah. Africa, let's come together. Africa, oh.
Thank you. I don't want to butcher names, so I'm going to speak by abbreviations and say Mr. MC. So when Mr. MC was speaking about the history that he gets told, I remembered of a debate I had with my grandfather when I was telling him that I want to start building internets when I was very young. He was telling me that when he was growing up, he was raised by white people on the farm, and they used to take him to go play with their kids. So at a very young age, he said that the white people would send the workers to go help other workers on weekends to cultivate their land. And he was like, they are good people because they did that. And I was like, I don't think so, because I'm sure the others didn't want to go and cultivate someone's land on their weekends as well. So yeah, I was going to go by a presentation, but I think I'm just going to speak straight from the heart, because it seems like everybody that came here, we're actually doing that. And we are very motivated by the Pan-Africanism that is being spoken about here. And this is what we try and do most of the time at Kentech with technology. Every day I get students that come from universities that are mostly skilled in theory. They don't really do the practical aspect. So imagine somebody coming and they've never made a LAN cable in their life and they want to become a professional in the industry. It makes it very hard. So every day we are spending money on buying a lot of cables because they are ruining it every day. So this was an image when I first started. I used to put it on in my slides, just from ideation. It shows two different images where one is drawing kettles on, and the little kid is drawing Wi-Fi icons and for and Bluetooth. So with that, that's just to show that that's where the vision was. So today I'm going to talk about a little bit of my experience and how I got to where I am, to being a founder of a telecommunications company and also the president of the Internet Society in Namibia. So go ahead. So simple, my journey started in 2014 when I was in university. I used to find myself very hungry during lunchtime. And then I had access to the internet. I had very few access because I grew up in a family where people work for the big telecommunications company in Namibia. So with that, I always used to hotspot my friends. They would call me during lunch and say, come hotspot us. We want to use the internet. But then I'm hungry and I decided, you know what, if I come, at least give me something. Then they will give me something, they'll spot me at $10, I'll buy myself a hot dog. And I realized, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to Zoo Park. It's a national park here in Windhoek. I went there and I'll find people that are on lunch and I'll say, use my internet and you can give me something as well. So that's how I spotted and I started growing into that. So for that, I went through the journey and actualization. So I brought this on to realize that Moore's laws is outdated. Now we have elevated. We used to talk about self-actualization. You needed to meet all of this, but now we can see that we are adding the element of technology to it. Today, whether you are in agriculture, I was just telling the gentleman for agriculture that when I was very young, I attended a US embassy program where they taught us how to make sensors for what do you call, lack of better terms, for irrigation system. So the sensor will detect that the soil is dry, then it will wet it to a level where it's perfect for the crops. So that kept the crops growing. So that's to speak about how we are actually using technology is an advancement or a derived from something. For example, like the internet, the roots of plants, they communicate to each other underground. So we just transformed it on how we communicate with each other through the internet. I attended a talk by Mr. Muponga, one of the Pan-Africans, Muponga, and he mentioned that we don't realize that we have when we talk about natural resources, we talk about the ocean, the land. I forgot the third one, but he spoke a fourth one, which was the air. This is where we, the technology guys, use that type of resource today, and that's the air, to communicate through cellular networks and all of that. That we do a lot. So there's things that we normally typically take in when we bring people into our company. We do 3 steps. That's STEM. We start with STEM. STEM is typically a practical teaching of what you need to do. We teach people how to make a cable. We teach you how to put up a tower. We teach you all of that. That's hands-on experience. And all of that is, I don't do it because like I was really taught in school, you know. I did that through trial and error over the years, just learning by myself. And then we try to bring it to them. And then we talk about the coding. This is where we teach them how to code the softwares, the programs. Because right now we use a lot of foreign products, especially in technology. And that's where we want to shift the mind of how do you go from becoming a consumer of digital technology to a contributor and a beneficiary to it. So every time you send a message to WhatsApp, that message goes first to Europe through the undersea cables and then comes back to Africa to reach the phone that you want. Imagine that. Yeah. And that's everywhere most of the time in the world or across Africa. That's what happens every day. So then we teach also design thinking, and then design thinking is to say, fail early, fail often, fail forward. So the more you do that, the quicker you learn, the quicker you can correct, and the quicker you can in terms of identifying the local needs and problems, then you can improve on that. So every community we're going to have a certain problem. And right now you will see that the divide between who has and who doesn't have is access to information. And that's very important. That's why we build a lot of our communication towers in underserved area, because those are the kids and the minds that are being left behind because they lack access to that information. So we're talking about we live in a digital world where the internet is the town square of it, and we want that Africa has a shop in the town square instead of us just consuming that information. That's what we do. So we're talking about extraction of data. That data is the new gold. You will hear that everywhere you go these days. And we want that that we use our local information or knowledge, especially now with the AI booming, that we can train the AI to identify our local knowledge and use that to better. Let's say, for example, you move the roads. Especially in Namibia, there are a lot of potholes in the roads now. So with one of the programs that we do, we have an AI system that drives around the town and locates the potholes, and that informs the local authority to say, there's a pothole here, you can go fix it. So that's real-time data that is being fed to the world. So that's what we need for our kids and children to say about. When you speak about Pan-Africanism, how is the information that they are consuming really comes from our true Africanness in nature. That's what we talk about. And then to be independent is manufacturing of ICT. We consume everything when it comes to technology. The phones, the SIM cards, everything is coming from abroad. We hardly make anything in Africa. And if you look at America, if you all know, we all push for iPhone. Everybody in America owns iPhone. That's because it's made by Americans. So then we think it's cool also one day. So we're looking there to say, okay, how as Africans do we transform the mind to say the next kid can produce a phone that's standard, with that quality that we can use and actually keep our information and data locally. To say that, I'm normally used to pitching, so that's 3 minutes. I hope I'm in time. Or I already give us time. I'd like to thank PASETA. This is a great initiative. I would like to be part of it if whatever way I can contribute. The thought of we are not no more just using technology, that we can contribute to it. One thing I like to say is that YouTube, when you see the payment rate of YouTube is based on a global context. But in Namibia, we are a population of 3 million. For you to reach 1 million views, it's almost like a 50% of 300 million US people. But the payment method, then you don't get paid in Namibia because it's just 1 million views, you know. While because the rate of the YouTubers is quite high based on a global context. So that deprives the local content creators in our country. Then you don't get paid, you don't really get monetized, and you can't make a living from that. But if it's a local thing in a local market, we can value it based on the local market, and people can make a living from that. I think from that, I'd like to say thank you. And yeah.
That's exactly 10 minutes.